Hello and welcome to MovieSnacks, the channel that connects you to the best movies to stream. In this video, we aim to save you time and enhance your streaming services by revealing 7 hidden gem horror movies you can stream right now. The following movies are ones you may have missed. They often get overlooked, but are definitely worth the watch. As always, availability is subject to change with time, but we'll include a full list as well as where you can stream each of the following movies in the top pinned comment below. So let's get started and introduce the first movie, which you can find streaming on Netflix, and that's 2020's His House. His House is a story about a refugee couple escaping war-torn South Sudan who struggle to adjust to their new life in the English town that has an evil lurking beneath the surface. This is an intriguing and unique reworking of the haunted house subgenre. It pushes the played-out old haunted house formula into new territory by taking an unexpectedly sharp look at the immigrant experience and fusing it with supernatural terror. I really enjoyed the acting here, as the entire cast does a great job keeping this film grounded and emotionally compelling. There are plenty of jump scares as well as drawn-out suspense and some really cool imagery. What makes this film work is the strong, purpose-driven story behind all of the terror. Unlike many other horror films we see, these characters have valid reasons for reacting the way they do within the context of the story. Overall, this is a fresh take and a thrilling reimagining of what the genre can be. For our next pick, we're going to stick with Netflix and talk about the movie Raw. This is a French film about a young woman studying to be a vet who develops a craving for human flesh. This is a brilliantly inventive and thoughtful coming-of-age horror story that explores the various hungers of youth. Now, it's definitely not for everyone. For one, it's full of cannibalistic gore, so if things like that make you squeamish, you might want to stay away. It's also pretty artsy, so if you're more into the Hollywood conventional or campy horror approach, this one is definitely not that. It's a film that doesn't fit squarely into any one category, but it is a remarkably fresh horror movie with a bite. Next, we're going to head over to HBO Max for a movie that flew under many people's radar, The Night House. In this story, a widow begins to uncover her recently deceased husband's disturbing secrets. This is a movie that I believe would appeal to a much wider audience than just horror fans. I think that anyone who is into thriller or mystery movies would also have a fun time with this. The film does a great job keeping you guessing as the plot gets uncovered piece by piece. At its core, it is a horror movie, and it does deliver a chilling atmosphere. The sound design really stands out. We get hit with some of the most well-crafted, brutal audio jump scares I've experienced in a long time. Now, the direction it takes in the conclusion may not do it for everybody. For me personally, it didn't quite stick the landing in the end. However, the concept is original and interesting, so I did enjoy it, and I can see many people relating to this one. Now, I'm gonna be real with you, some of the next movies on this list get pretty wild. Starting with the 2010 Spanish film The Last Circus, currently streaming on Amazon Prime, Hulu, and Tubi. In this dark tale, a young trapeze artist must decide between her lust for Sergio, the happy clown, or her affection for Javier, the sad clown, both of whom are deeply disturbed. I have 3 words for this movie: insane, unique, and bizarre. It has an increasingly surreal storyline that serves as a political allegory about the two Spains during the 1937 Spanish Civil War. This is not going to be for everyone. It's brutal in its delivery with intense gore and explicit sex scenes. If you have trouble with blood, violence, and disturbed clowns, then seriously, stay away. But for everyone else, this film is very much a dark horror fantasy that delivers good cinematography, strong acting, and exceptional makeup design. It starts a little slow, but it really escalates, and by the end just goes into complete madness, displaying how destructive misplaced love can be. This is no doubt going to be one of the weirdest films you ever see. Now, I had a lot of fun watching this next movie, available on Tubi, and that's The Invitation. Okay, please do not confuse this with the recent train wreck of a film in 2022 by the same title. We're talking about the 2015 film, where a man accepts an invitation to a dinner party hosted by his ex-wife, a party that reopens old wounds and creates new tensions. I almost don't want to tell you anything about this film because the less you know, the bigger the payoff, and this movie definitely pays off in the end. It's a slow burn masterclass in tension building that will make you question what kind of movie it is until it finally reveals itself in a beautiful finale. It feels like it would make sense for almost anything to happen in this movie as you're being thrown into relatable but uncomfortably weird situations. This film had a really small budget and they made the most of it. It'll keep you guessing right up until the very end. If you choose to accept the invitation, you won't regret it. There seems to be a big fascination with serial killers at the moment, with the Jeffrey Dahmer series getting a lot of attention. This next film follows a highly intelligent serial killer over the course of 12 years and depicts the murders that really develop his inner madman. Streaming now on Tubi is The House That Jack Built. This is easily the most graphic and disturbing movie on this list. Seriously, there's going to be a lot of people out there who will not be able to stomach this film. Let's just say there's no bounds to the gore, violence, and deprivation on display in this one. Matt Dillon is completely believable as a cerebral, OCD-afflicted, and narcissistic serial killer. Some critics will write this one off as just a display of grotesque cinema, but the truth is, the story seems genuinely concerned with the questions it raises and tackles them with undeniable wit and intelligence. It's pretentious and self-aware at the same time. It's skillfully directed with moments of bracing insight added to scenes that are the stuff of nightmares. There is a heavy message delivered here from director Lars von Trier. It's not only a study into the mind of a serial killer who has no bounds in his methods for creating what he considers art, but also a story told with no bounds itself, leaving you to question the consequences of the means taken by the director to deliver the messages of the film. Last but not least, we have an independent film that snuck by many people but has since been developing a cult following. It's also available on Tubi, and it's 2018's Mandy. The happy lives of a couple in the secluded forest are brutally shattered by a nightmarish hippie cult and their demon biker henchmen, propelling a man into a spiraling, surreal rampage of vengeance. This one is just as fun as it is dark. We get the Nicolas Cage turned up all the way to 11 in one of his most memorable performances. There's a booming 80s boozy guitar-driven soundtrack and a standout LCD psychedelic visual styling. It's a revenge horror flick with nostalgic nods to 80s horror movies. It's strange, absurd, and deranged with over-the-top gore and violence. The story's not the main selling point on this one. You can think of it as John Wick on an acid trip. It starts slow but ramps all the way up. Personally, I kind of enjoyed the slow build-up section myself, but most people are going to tune in for the ridiculous mayhem that follows. The movie has some really cool shots sprinkled all the way through with interesting composition and colors. This one you'll enjoy if you don't take it too seriously going in and you're into trippy visuals and intense grindhouse gore type of action. Alright, that was the list. Hopefully you found something new to watch. Let everyone know what you think of these films in the comments below. If you made it this far, be sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you can stay up to date with all the best movies to stream. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.